stars out of stone and gold. I built mine out of thunder, salt, and blood. Hear my name and tremble. To the Caribbean Sea, one man rose up to set the ocean free. No crown upon his forehead, no royal blood in vein, just 40 roaring cannons on the Queen Anne's reign. Burning fuses tucked beneath his hat, smoke around his face like a demon on the track. He didn't fire a bullet to make a kingdom bow. The whole Atlantic coastline is before him now. Hail to the king of the no man's sea. It would teach the legend of the free. The devil in the darkness, the thunder in the gale. 100 years of empires could never match his tale. Musket balls couldn't force him to his knees. 20 saber cuts couldn't bring him to his feet. They took his mortal body, they hung his head up high. But a spirit built of fire is never gonna die. King of the no man's sea, that would teach the legend of the free. The devil in the darkness, the thunder in the gale. 100 years of empires could never match his tale. Could never match his tale. You can kill the man, but you bow to the name. Blackbeard lives forever. They built her out of French oak, called her La Concorde. I tore away her canvas and gave her a new lord. 1,400 tons of iron and wood. Welcome to Queen Anne's revenge. November 1717, off the island shore, I spotted 300 tons of French oak made for war. La Concorde was slaving under merchant hand. I swept in like a hurricane, took her from the land. Stripped down the quarters, reinforced the frame, called 40 heavy cannons to justify her name. Black sails catching the Atlantic gale, leaving every royal frigate broken and pale. Iron broadside loaded, ready for the strike. Ain't no ship riding on the waves, turning merchant ships into sunken graves. 40 guns of thunder, black flags high. When my queen shows up, the sea begins to cry. No wooden hook can take 40 iron balls, watching empires crumble as a shadow falls. She wasn't just a vessel floating in the foam, she was the devil's castle in my fucking into sunken graves. 40 guns of thunder, black flags high. When my queen shows up, the sea begins to cry. She sleeps beneath the sand of Topsail Bay, but her ghost still rules the ocean today. Look into the haze. I don't need a sword to cut your soul in half. Just look at my face. Loaded pistol slung across my chest, a crimson silk sash over a leather vest, tangled black hair falling down to my waist. Thick black beard braided dark and defiled, I strapped the slow fuses under my hat, chambered in iron where the shadows are at. I strike a match in the cold sea air, light up the wicks tucked inside my hair. Thick yellow smoke starts to rise and coil, boiling the blood on the ocean soil. Smoking Blair, a demon from the pit. One look in my face and your courage is split. Eyes are cold burning through the haze. The whole Caribbean is ablaze. Is ablaze. Clouds of sulfur wrapping round my head, trading merchant sailors for the living dead. They see a giant ghost standing in the steam, dropping their weapons, screaming in a dream. No need to fight, no need to bleed. My demonic advisor is all that I Blackbear. Why waste a single cannonball when fear does the job for you? I never craved your blood, I just conquered your mind. Loaded pistol slung across my chest, a cloud of sulfur smoke upon my vest. I built a stage of terror out of smoke and hair, a walking nightmare in the salty air. Merchant captains trembling before the fight, dropping down their swords in the blinding light. A fool uses eye and a genius uses dread. I win the whole battle inside your fucking head. Nobody counting needed, no blood on the wood. Your whole fortune right where you stood. Master of the mind game, devil in your head. You surrender all your gold before a single drop of red. Fear is my weapon, terror is my law. The smartest damn pirate that the ocean never saw. Check the history page, not a single prisoner slaughtered in my rage. If you bow your head, you walk away alive. That's the simple rule for a man to survive. They call me a monster, a cruel barbaric king, while I took their ships without burning a thing. Drop of red. Fear is my weapon, terror is my law. The smartest damn pirate that the ocean never saw. They think I killed thousands. Truth is, I never had to fire a gun. Topsail inlet. The gold was too heavy for all of us to share. Forgive me, brothers, but the devil takes it all. drove my Queen Anne's Revenge straight into the sand. A deliberate wreck right off the coast of land. Panic on the deck, water rushing through the seams. Watching my own crew drown in their greedy dreams. I loaded up the sloops with every chest of gold. Left 20 loyal men stranded in the cold on a barren desert island. No water, not a drop, praying for a rescue that was never gonna stop. I am the shadow on the Atlantic tide. There ain't no honor where the demons hide. I wreck my own fleet, I betray my own kin, to keep the whole kingdom of the ocean sin. From the shore, cursing out my name, watching me sail away with the treasure and the fame. Never trust a captain with fire in his eyes. Every oath I ever swore was a curtain of lies. Kingdom of the ocean sin. Enjoy the island, boys. Blackbear sails alone. London, 1805. My name is Jennifer Scott. I carried no assassin's blade. I carried no Templar ring. Yet their endless war stole 90 years of my life. 1712, my father Edward sailed out to the deep, leaving Mother Carolina alone in tears to weep. I grew up in the shadow, wearing trousers like a boy, dreaming of his pirate ship, his freedom and his joy. Smallpox took my mother, leaving me in grandfather's rage, writing letters to the ocean from a cold and lonely cage. Reunited with my father on Great Inagua shore, moved to London, thought the nightmare wouldn't haunt us anymore. Then birds broke through the doorway on a dark December night, killed my father, killed his wife, and vanished from the light. Sold into the slavery of Topkapi's palace walls. 20 years in darkness where no morning never calls. A victim of a war I never chose to fight, bearing all the tragedy beneath the ocean night. From Damascus by my brother Haven's hand, pushed birch onto his sword, taking vengeance on this land. Returned to London's mansion, but my heart was turned to stone. No husband and no children, living broken and alone. Then Connor killed my brother, my last remaining blood, drowning all my hope inside a crimson river flood. Walls, 20 years in darkness where no morning never calls. A victim of a war, I never chose to fight, bearing all the tragedy beneath the ocean night.
Handed Hatham's letters to Elise, praying for an end. I lived 92 years with no family left to defend. Jennifer Scott, the ghost who carried no creed.
Ocracoke Inlet, November 1718. Lieutenant Maynard, you think a sword can end a legend? Slice my throat and watch me swim. Me in the shallow bay, I down my last flask of rum, refused to run away. Boarded his vessel with a cutlass in my hand, swapping steel and fire in a bloody wonderland. 5 musket balls slammed deep into my chest, 20 saber wounds couldn't lay my soul to rest. A Highlander crept behind me, struck a coward's blow, severed off my head while my blood began to flow. They tied my bloody skull upon the bow, spread high, leaving my headless body underneath the frozen sky. The headless devil swimming in the sea, 3 times round the ship to set his spirit free. You can cut my neck, you can take my crown, but the legend of Blackbear will never go down. My head in shame, thinking he could extinguish my immortal flame. But sailors on the coast still hear the water splash, a headless ghost carving through the ocean's ash. My flesh is in the deep, my head is on a pole, but the 7 seas will forever hold my soul. Swimming in the sea, 3 times round the ship to set his spirit free. You can cut my neck, you can take my crown, but the legend of Blackbear will never go down. Will never go down. Look into the water, Maynard. My body's still swimming. 1718. I didn't come for your gold or your land. I hold your entire city in the palm of my hand. 4 black ships blocking up the harbor line, 9 merchant vessels trapped in the brine. Councilmen in silk sitting in my hold, watching Governor Johnson's blood running cold. The whole damn colony paralyzed with fear, praying that the devil wouldn't sail too near. They offered up their silver, offered up their gold. I looked them in the eye, said that ain't what I'm owed. My crew's got the fever, walking to the grave. Give me a chest of medicine if your counsel's what you'd say. Blockade at Charleston City on its knees, a whole royal empire begging me for peace. No cannonballs wasted, no blood on the deck, just one chest of medicine to save your bloody neck. They searched every store, ransacked the pharmacies to bring it to my shore. 300 pounds of medicine handed to my grip. I stripped those fancy councilmen and threw them off my ships. And I'm walking naked back onto the sand to show the Royal Navy who really rules this land. Knees, a whole royal empire begging me for peace. No cannonballs wasted, no blood on the deck, just one chest of medicine save your bloody neck. A city brought to ruin for a chest of drugs. Remember who did it? Blackbear. Havana, wind 17-8. Marquis of Castores, Knight of Santiago. They paint me as a villain hiding in a hall, but I am the iron fist that makes the empire stand tall. $1688, hunting courses in the deep, sailing my own warship while the other lords sleep. Governor of Florida, commander of the bay, scouring the Caribbean, driving pirates away. Not a coward in a mansion, I stood up on the deck, sending lawless scoundrels to a watery wreck. Suspended from my throne in 1711, jailed in El Moro under angry Spanish heaven. Internal court battles, accusations in the air, but I rose from the shadows without a single stain to wear. Laureano Torres, the Lord of Havana shore, weaving Spanish power through the Tobacco War, restoring his heart, cleared of every crime. Governor of Cuba, standing through the time. Forget the observatory, forget the little games. My real power grew in the green tobacco flames. Monopolized the harvest, controlled the western land, filling royal treasuries with the master's hand. Smugglers and speculators crushed beneath my heels. That's how a real Knight of Santiago deals. Jamaica. I died peacefully in Havana. 1717. Nassau, 1713. I built the republic of pirates from the sand. I taught Edward Teach how to command. Now, I hunt 'em down. Hey, 1713, raiding merchant ships in the bay. Built the pirate haven where the outlaws used to play. 5 ships, 300 men answering my call. Edward Teach is my second, watching empire fall. But I had a single rule written on my soul: never take the British flag, keep your navy whole. My own crew turned against me, called me weak and slow. Elected Sam Bellamy, told me where to go. Stripped me of my rank, left me with a broken crew. So when King George offered pardon, I knew what I had to do. Benjamin Honeygo, the father of the sin, turning on his brothers just to save his own skin. From the captain of Nassau to the governor's hound, hunting down the pirates that he once had crowned. My oath to Woods, Rogers took the royal coin. Sailed the Ranger to the shadows where the traders joined. Chasing down my former men, hunting Blackbeard's ghost. Trading old brotherhood for the British coast. 1719, the storm began to rise. A hidden coral reef beneath the angry skies. Benjamin Honeygo, the father of the sin, turning on his brothers just to save his own skin. From the captain of Nassau to the governor's hound, hunting down the pirates that he once had crowned. Survived on a canoe in the dark, while the ocean buried Hornigo, leaving no mark.
Born in Ireland, 1697. They wanted me in silk, but I chose a cutlass. They call me Anne Bonny. Listen to my steel. Wild child crossing the Atlantic foam, leaving my quiet life, making the sea my home. Not just a lover sitting on Calico's knee. I pulled on man's trousers to set my anger free. When the drums of war beat, I stripped off the dress, step onto the bloody deck to clean up the mess. A pistol in my left hand, a saber in my right, cursing like a sailor in the middle of the fight. A A few short weeks of terror in 1720, sashing through their ranks, leaving bodies in plenty. And Bonnie, the queen of the Caribbean hell, swearing silver steel, dancing to the pirate bell, cursing at the Navy till the deck turns red. I'd rather die a demon than a prison in a bed. October 1720, the Navy took us down. Jack Rackham was cowering, acting like a clown. I looked him in the eye, said if you fall like a man, you wouldn't hang like a dog in this bloody sand. Sentenced to the gallows, but I played my final card. Plead my belly, judge, I'm pregnant, strike hard. Dancing to the pirate bell, cursing at the Navy till the deck turns red. I'd rather die a demon than a prison in a bed. Did I die in a prison cell, or escape to the shore? The history books lost me forevermore.